Oh,
Where we
hello.
going? Hello, hello.
Whew, I had to hurry over here. Boy, that was a great conversation. I ran over here. Yeah, Jamie Nolan, boy, talking about a dynamite lady. I am so glad to have that conversation with her because I haven't had a chance to even meet her yet. She's fairly new to National Speakers Association, but boy, she had the background to help our organization for speakers worldwide. I'm really thrilled to have that conversation with her.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I wonder if she's related to Ryan, Nolan
Oh,
Ryan.
I forgot to ask her. That's right. That's right. I forgot to ask her. Well, yeah, I'm going to have to get back on that for sure. But I really appreciated her honesty, her enthusiasm, being enthusiastic regarding, getting speakers up to par, especially for GMID Day, to get them to know what it's all about. And she also shared, what the speakers have been going through, which was pretty devastating. I've never in my career in the hospitality industry has ever seen the speaking community get hit so hard as they did during this pandemic. And she gave us the insight to that.
One thing that really that I didn't know was the multi-year contracts that a lot of places they want multi-year contracts to try to make up for the loss in revenue
Right.
that they experienced over the past couple of years. So uh,
Right.
I hope all hotels are doing that because I feel like that we're moving in the right direction when it comes to getting meetings back in the door. So hopefully, there won't be any issues when it comes to finding new business. But heck, with multi-year contracts, you're locked in. That attrition is no joke. Like
Yeah,
that
that
attrition.
and the force majeure, yeah, those are no joke at all. But rightly so that might happen because the space is very limited out there. So as I mentioned and talked to her about, it's all about that. And right now, that's where meeting and event professionals are. They're trying to find that space and those venues because ballrooms are just not being built anymore. And I can see why. But at the same time, we've got to find some space because there's going to be a lot. I call it meeting revenge. It's going to happen. It's definitely going to bring a lot of people to the table here. But yeah, she's such a great advocate to the speaking industry, and again, she's got the background of meeting professional, and so she's going to be able to really help the association and all of the members there understand the client side. And that's the disconnect between speakers and clients. They have to, it's all about closing that gap between the two to make sure they're communicating, make sure they're advocating for each other at the same time. So I really appreciated some of the insight that she was talking about. And for her, the answer is communication and mutual expectations. That's what she said. Communication and mutual expectations to be met. And if you have those two things, you'll have a great partner between the client and the speaker. I thought that was great.
For sure, for sure. What the things that she went through is pretty much we've been hearing a lot from a lot of our guests that's been on the show is working together, like learning
Yeah.
from each other, using everyone as their bridge to get across this path.
Right.
Which has been a little long path for all of us, but we're getting close to the end. So the fact that she was able to work with that with people that she probably didn't want to work with at one point in time.
Yeah. And I think it's, for her, it's all about being a good partner. It really is. And with your clients. And she felt that, we really need to merge together in order to make everything work out. And you're right. This is kind of the theme we've been hearing all day is working together and, for the good of everyone and for the industry. And I think that's what we're going to see. We're going to see a lot of that. I believe. But we talked about also a pain point in the industry, and that's fees. You can't really talk that much about it, but the difference between virtual and in person has been very confusing for everyone during this pandemic, because the perception of not getting on an airplane, as opposed to getting on an airplane, you're thinking, okay, well, your fee should be less. Well, obviously that's not the case. There's still preparation that goes into this. There's still the research. There's still, a lot that needs to be done, if not more, because you have that extra time not to be on the plane. But we're working on the plane too. So it shouldn't be looked at it any differently. And I liked her perspective on that. What about you, Bruce?
Now with the fees, especially with the extra costs, they forget that we have to get more equipment to make the virtual events happen. Like we don't just whip out our cell phone and just start recording the event. Like there's a special equipment that we have to get just to make a virtual event happen, or a hybrid of it happen. So of course that cost is going to get passed on to the customer. So that's very difficult to explain to a customer when they're so used to just grabbing their cell phone and going live on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube or TikTok. So it's a very different experience for both sides, I believe.
Yeah, it is. It is. And so I knew we would get into a pain point there, but it needed to be talked about. And I was grateful that she was willing to be open with that and give her perspective, because as the president and CEO, she hears it all out there. And so it was really great to hear what she had to say. And plus, when we talked about GMID, I wanted to talk to her about, what does the speaking community even know about GMID? And the truth, of course, is they really don't understand the value, or that, what the special day is. And so giving some tidbits to the speakers that, might be, viewing this broadcast today, gosh, take advantage of GMID Day and connect with your clients. This is the day to do it. And so she and I, as you heard, we were back and forth on some ideas and some tips for speakers to get involved. It's like, it's such a no-brainer. This is the day where everybody should be connecting, right?
Absolutely. Listen, and they're at the right event to do it. They're here with Deborah and Bruce, and they know they're in the right forum to make that happen. And I'm just so glad we was able to bring these amazing, great speakers to the forefront.
Yeah, totally agree with you on that. And like you said, you've done some speaking before, as well, and now being involved with this broadcast and learning more about GMID. What are your thoughts from a speaker's perspective?
From a speaker's perspective, I feel like we're not doing enough as speakers.
Right.
I feel like we could do so much more, because as a speaker, the number one goal is to bring value to the audience. We want the audience to leave the room educated, motivated, and ready to execute as soon as they walk out the door.
Sure.
So I feel like as speakers, there's more for us to deliver. There's more for us to give. So that's my take on it.
Yeah.
What
Okay. So
about you?
what about your perspective on the hotel side, the supplier side of the industry, or well, the hotel side for sure?
On the hotel side, we see things happen every day. I love the events. I never forget, it was a church event that had happened, and just one of our servers, I don't know if it was on purpose or by accident, they got holy water thrown them on them. So ever since then, that location love church events.
That's funny. That is so funny. That is great. That is great. Well, and Jamie and I were talking also about, what are decision makers looking for today, as far as hot topics, things like that. I know that, of course, the pandemic has always been such a forefront of a topic, but what we're hearing above and beyond what Jamie and I talked about is that, people are getting tired of talking about the pandemic. So do you see any other topics out there that people would prefer to talk, to listen about? I mean, we've also got, things like burnout and stress because we've been, mental health and all that. Anything else that you think audiences are going to want to talk about or learn about?
Well, most people in the audience they want to learn about balance again because a lot of people have left the industry because they felt like they didn't have the balance that they need. So if a speaker has the knowledge and wisdom to provide a plan of action to get the balance that they need and still able to perform the quality of work that they're used to producing at work. That's one topic. Another topic is, of course, is always going to be revenue for some strange reasons. No matter how much revenue we get, we can't get enough. And specifically, the fees that we charge, especially at the
Right.
hotel level, and when it comes to events and conferences, because since your costs are going to be moving all across the board, the fees have to follow because no one's in a position right now to take any kind of loss. They've already took them for a year and a half, 2 years. So that's something that you're going to see a lot more of.
Wow, interesting. Very interesting. Well, that I really like that conversation with her, and yeah, I'm always learning something new from you as well. But I know closing the gap is very important. But now we're ready to close out today. What do you think of today? I think we'll get to our closing in a few minutes here, but.
That means no one's going to see my favorite mug anymore.
I know. Mine either. Boy, I love it. I love it. So yeah, kudos to Jamie and National Speakers Association for being on today's show. Really enjoyed her, and I think now we need to get into our closing for the day. And of course, one more time, we'd love to say thank you to our official. Our official sponsor, our title sponsor, Efficient Health Solutions. And knowing that they have been with us through this whole process has been just unbelievably wonderful. So Efficient Health Solutions, your preferred health insurance provider for the hospitality industry, efficienthealthsolutions.com. Stay tuned. We're going to close out today. My co-host, Bruce Jordan and we want your feedback as well. So hold on. We'll be right back.